Building Clever Models Cream City Toolworks O-Scale Kits to HO scale size. Clever Models has an HO scale size version of their Cream City Toolworks complex in a light colored brick. I wanted the darker version, which is only available in the O-scale size kits for the complex. The HO version never had an official darker version. Therefore, the 4 O-scale size kits were purchased. I created a step-by-step how-to document. It covers the techniques that I use to resize and modify the O-scale size kit for building A of the 4 building complex to complete it in the darker version that was the correct size for HO scale. Those techniques were then used to create the other 3 buildings of the complex. The document is titled My Cream City Toolworks How-To in PDF format. The link to the document is listed in the notes below. The how-to covers the complete build of Building A. It provides extensive explanations, examples, and many photos. It also demonstrates how I changed Building A into the 2-section type of construction that was similar to Building B's construction. Left to right, O-scale, S-scale, HO scale, and N-scale. Many of the techniques that work for constructing an O-scale size structure do not work when the same structure is built to HO scale. If the original cardstock kit is intended to be printed full size for 1/48 scale, it must be printed at 55% of that size to equal HO's 1/87 scale size. 48 divided by 87 equals 0.551724, or 55% when rounded. It took a full 2 months of trial and error learning to create the how-to. The leaning chimney problem, shown in the photo, was corrected when the 3rd version of Building A was completed using an improved technique. An intermediate support was created for the interior supports, providing supports at the top, middle, and bottom of the 2-story wall. Once the techniques used for Building A were mastered, converting the O-scale cardstock kits for buildings B, C, and D to HO scale were easier, much easier. After finding this photo of the prototype Cream City Toolworks on the Clever Models website, I added a new triangular section for Building B to my 3rd construction of Building A. Photos of the 3rd Building A with a new construction of Building B's triangular section added. All of the structures to date, July 16th, 2023. The structures still need roof details, external details, and signage. They also need at least 3 coats of Krylon K05547007 Color Max acrylic clear finish, flat, crystal clear. A PDF list of tools and supplies that I used is linked in the description below this video. The following video segments demonstrate how I used and modified certain techniques to complete Building A of this complex of 4 buildings. The video segments are designed to be useful while following my how-to. Many of the techniques demonstrated in the videos can also be used for other cardstock modeling as well. Embossing. Embossing is the term used by Clever Models for creasing the cardstock to make folds. It is used a lot when constructing these structures. Note that I start the embossing procedure to create the parapet on a wall using a small white styrofoam sheet to make piercing cuts, do the creasing on a cutting mat, and finish the fold in hand. This is wall 6. Only the 2 red lines get the cut through pierces. One there. One there. One there. One there. The styrofoam is removed. I like to do the innermost one first. So I line it up. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fold it up along the L square and then fold it over and back up. Line it up. Make sure that it's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fold it over. Sorry about that. Then, on this side, it's the blue line. Align it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring it up. Fold it over. And the folds have been made. And now it'll look like that. That's not 90 degrees, but that's it. The next video illustrates the Wall 5 modification for building A when building the structure in 2 sections. This is what Wall 5 looks like when the inside pencil lines were used to emboss the vertical folds. Cutting openings for windows and doors and affixing them to the wall's back side. First thing we need to do is tape the wall to the cutting mat so that it doesn't move. The doors and windows are X-cut first. Oops. I used a 12-inch ruler taped to the mat to do it. The knife is drawn across the diagonal. The same is done going the other way. Note that the mat was turned 180 degrees, so I can make this cut. The inside of the door frame is cut and the outside of the window. My head may be in here. The other sides have already been cut. Same with the window. The piece is removed from the mat board and the tape is removed. The cuts are finished on this side. I'm doing the window because I see I forgot something on the door. And back on the door here, if the pieces fall out readily and don't seem to be stuck, they can come out. These came out. I've got a little trimming to do here. I'll take care of that. The edges need to be colored using a number 2 lead pencil. I see I've got a little bit of glue down to do there on that frame on that side. This is how it's done, and then from the back I'm not going to finish it up, but it's the same process for the windows. I set my glue like this so that it's ready to go. I'm going to use tacky glue. I put a small amount on a scrap piece of paper, way more than I need. A toothpick is used to apply some glue around the edge of the door frame. And I also use my finger. I have a rag at the ready. I just use the rag behind me to wipe my fingers. Put the door on. Flip it around. Carefully align the door. Once I get it aligned, come on, have to do it while I'm videoing, right? And we'll dress up that little piece of white right there with the pencil. There we go. The windows are done in a similar manner. The windows are done in a similar manner. I've already put the glue around the edges. Get it over the window. Notice the arrow on the back shows me which way is up. Get it aligned. Press it down. It's done. And the other window is done the same way. Wall 5 is finished and ready for assembly. Cutting slots in the interior supports made from craft foam board to clear the doors and windows that are glued on the back side of the walls. This is a floor piece, and this is wall 1. I've already measured it, and it needs to have a door piece cut out. So I go just a little beyond where it is to give it a little wiggle room. Notice that it's been scribbled on here, so I know this is the door. Not so important for this wall, but if a wall has a whole bunch of windows, it's nice to know where to cut. I get my rule, lay it on there, and get just the smallest, little tiniest piece. And then I just use a sawing motion, come along, go down into the foam, then I pop the piece out, and if the paper doesn't come out, well, it did that time, I just take and cut the paper out. Cutting some walls apart to create 2 sections for building A and forming the parapets. For the demonstration, the cut edges of the cardstock were not colored with the edge of a number 2 pencil lead. Don't forget to color all the white edges of the cardstock. This is the top portion of the second story on wall 1. I already cut this piece off, so it'll be more similar to 4. I use blue masking tape, fold it over when I want to make sure that a piece doesn't move, and then I stick it on the back side, someplace where I'm not going to be cutting, and I put it down on the cutting board like so. Now that piece won't move. Using the Fisker's knife, I carefully cut the tab I am so right-handed that I have to turn the mat to cut the other side. The second story is cut out. The 12-inch metal rule was taped so that it doesn't move. Starting from, this right here is the top of the parapet. So I start from here where the tab is and cut down. Again, being so right-handed, I turn around and again, starting from here, I cut all the way down like this. Remove the tape and ruler. And this piece should come right out. The blue masking tape stuck. So now this would be the second story, and it just needs to be cut out. I had forgotten to mention that the test piece here had already been embossed to get the fold lines. Next thing to do is bend these tabs, because they're embossed, they kind of go in fairly easily. And then bend this under, and there's the end of the parapet. Remember that the demonstration piece is representing this wall right here. This part of wall 1 has been cut off. I've got the 90-degree angle over here. See, when the wall gets folded, the tab, whoops, get in there. Tab goes under there like that. And so you end up with a wall end that looks like that. This project was a great learning experience that provided me with 6 structures to use on my dead rail HO layout. The playlists for my other videos about using dead rail in conjunction with LocoFi and the construction of my first HO train layout in a very, very long time are also linked in the description below. I suggest that my website should be checked at least on a monthly basis to see what I've learned, relearned, and where I'm going next with this project. My email address is linked at the top of my webpage if you have questions to ask or comments to share. I would love to hear from you.